If you're over 70 or you love someone who is, there's something you urgently need to hear. It's about a daily habit we were all taught to believe was essential for health and hygiene, but it could actually be putting seniors in serious danger. I'm talking about daily bathing. I know, it sounds crazy, right? After 4 decades as a doctor working closely with older adults, I've seen firsthand the hidden dangers most people never think about. Falls, fainting spells, sudden heart issues, tragedies that happen every day, all because of what was supposed to be a harmless bath. And every winter, the numbers get worse. Please, don't brush this off. Whether it's your life, your mom's, your dad's, or someone you adore, what I'm about to share could truly make the difference between life and death. Stay with me, because I'm about to reveal 5 shocking truths about bathing after 70. Truths that could save a life, maybe even yours. Before we dive in, do me one quick favor. Hit the like button and subscribe for more real, life-saving health advice you won't hear anywhere else. Your support means the world, and it helps get this critical information to the people who need it most. Truth number 1. Hot baths. The risk nobody warned you about. When we think of a hot bath, most of us imagine comfort, relaxation, even healing. It's a ritual many seniors hold on to, a small pleasure that feels harmless, even beneficial. But what if I told you that this soothing habit could quietly put elderly lives at risk? After more than 40 years of working with older patients, I've seen it happen again and again. The hidden dangers of hot baths, especially for aging hearts, are far more serious than most people realize. Let me tell you about Mr. Harold Evans, one of my longtime patients. Harold was 85, full of stories, sharp as a tack, and stubbornly independent. He loved his evening bath. "It's my way to end the day," he would tell me with a smile. But one winter evening, after soaking for just a little too long in water that was a little too hot, Harold stood up from the tub and collapsed. His blood pressure had dropped so suddenly that he lost consciousness before he even had a chance to steady himself. By the time his daughter found him, Harold had suffered a mild stroke. Thankfully, he survived. But his recovery was long and painful. And the saddest part? It could have been prevented. What happened to Harold is not rare. Hot water causes blood vessels to dilate, a natural response called vasodilation. In younger bodies, the heart easily compensates, keeping blood pressure steady. But in seniors, the heart doesn't adapt as quickly or efficiently. Aging blood vessels lose some of their elasticity, and the autonomic nervous system, the part responsible for adjusting blood pressure, simply doesn't react as fast anymore. The result? A sudden and dangerous drop in blood pressure, known as orthostatic hypotension, which can lead to dizziness, fainting, falls, and in tragic cases like Harold's, strokes or heart attacks. You see, when young people enjoy a hot bath, their hearts handle the thermal stress smoothly. The blood pressure might dip slightly, but the heart rate adjusts and the body maintains its balance. For someone over 70, though, the same bath can trigger a cardiovascular domino effect. The vessels expand, blood pools in the lower body, the heart struggles to push enough blood to the brain, and suddenly they're on the floor, disoriented or worse. One of the biggest mistakes I see among my elderly patients is the mindset of, "I'm still strong. This doesn't apply to me." I hear it all the time. "I feel fine, doc. No need to worry." But feeling fine isn't the same as being safe. The body's internal warning systems get weaker with age. A 15-minute soak in hot water that once felt rejuvenating at 50 can be dangerous at 80. And it's not just the temperature. The duration matters too. Sitting in a hot bath for more than 10 or 15 minutes can compound the problem, overwhelming the heart and throwing off the body's ability to regulate its own core temperature. So, how can you stay safe without giving up the simple joys of bathing? It starts with awareness. When you're in the bath or shower, pay close attention to how your body feels. Lightheadedness, a racing heart, slight nausea, or even just an odd sense of weakness. These are not signs to brush off. They are your body's way of begging you to stop and get help. If you notice any of these symptoms, sit down immediately, call for help if possible, and avoid making sudden movements. Practical changes can make all the difference. Lower the water temperature. Aim for warm, not hot. About 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 to 38 degrees is safe for most seniors. Keep your baths short. No more than 10 minutes is ideal. Install grab bars in the bathroom and consider using a shower chair for extra support. And never bathe when you're alone at home if it can be avoided. Having someone nearby could save your life if something goes wrong. Most importantly, talk openly about these risks with your loved ones. I know it can feel uncomfortable. No one wants to admit they're getting older or that something as basic as bathing could be dangerous. But recognizing these changes is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the courage to protect your life and your independence for as long as possible. When Harold finally returned to my office after his stroke rehab, he said something that stuck with me. "Doc, I didn't want to believe you when you warned me. I thought I was invincible. Now, I wish I had listened sooner." If his story can spare even one person the pain he went through, then it's worth sharing. Please, don't wait until something bad happens. A few small adjustments today could protect your tomorrow. 2. Skin damage you don't see. When we think about skincare, we often think of creams, lotions, maybe a good moisturizer. But for seniors, skincare isn't just about looking good. It's about survival. Most people don't realize how fragile aging skin becomes and how easily a simple bath, if done wrong, can open the door to dangerous infections. I learned this early in my practice, and cases like Mrs. Light Eleanor Hayes's still haunt me. Eleanor was 78, lively and sharp, still volunteering at her church every Sunday. She had always prided herself on her hygiene. She bathed daily, scrubbed thoroughly with antibacterial soap, believing she was keeping herself clean and healthy. What she didn't realize was that each vigorous scrubbing, each use of harsh soap, was slowly stripping away her skin's natural defenses. One winter, Eleanor noticed a few tiny cracks on her heels. Nothing alarming at first, but within days, those cracks became red, swollen, and painful. By the time she came to the hospital, she had developed a serious staph infection, Staphylococcus aureus, that had spread deep into her tissues. She spent weeks in the hospital fighting off the infection, and her road to recovery was long and exhausting. The truth is, Eleanor's situation is more common than people want to admit. As we age, our skin naturally loses moisture, elasticity, and crucially, its protective lipid layer, the thin barrier that keeps harmful bacteria out and hydration in. Research published in the Journal of Dermatological Science highlights how the lipid barrier deteriorates significantly with age, making elderly skin more prone to dryness, cracking, and infections. In younger people, even if the skin is slightly damaged, it bounces back quickly. But in seniors, every little crack is an open invitation for bacteria. This is why the traditional idea of scrub yourself clean every day is not just outdated for the elderly. It's dangerous. The skin at 75 or 80 is not the same skin it was at 30 or 40. It's thinner, drier, and far more vulnerable. Aggressive washing, especially with strong antibacterial soaps, doesn't protect. It weakens. It strips away the tiny bit of protection that's left, leaving the skin defenseless. And when infection strikes, something as small as a staph infection, it can spiral into something life-threatening, especially in those whose immune systems are already not as robust. Another major mistake I see all the time is the obsession with full-body cleansing, as if every inch of the skin needs to be scrubbed spotless daily. It doesn't. The truth is, for seniors, the goal should shift from being clean to being protected. That means focusing on keeping essential areas like underarms, groin, feet, and any skin folds gently clean, while leaving the rest of the skin largely undisturbed. The solution starts with choosing the right products. Look for gentle, pH-balanced cleansers, ideally with a pH around 5.5, which matches the skin's natural acidity. Avoid anything labeled antibacterial or deodorizing, as these are often far too harsh. Moisturizing body washes designed for sensitive skin are a much better choice. And the technique matters just as much as the product. Use warm, not hot water. Cleanse with your hands or a soft cloth instead of scrubbing with brushes or rough sponges, and keep bathing sessions short. After bathing, it's critical to seal in moisture immediately. Within 3 minutes of stepping out of the bath or shower, gently pat the skin dry. Don't rub. And apply a good moisturizer all over, focusing especially on areas prone to dryness, like the legs, arms, and feet. Thick, fragrance-free creams or ointments work better than thin lotions. Most importantly, we have to shift how we think about hygiene as we age. It's no longer about washing away every speck of dirt. It's about preserving the body's natural shields. It's about caring for the skin with the same tenderness you would give to a delicate piece of fine fabric that's been in the family for generations. When Eleanor finally came home from the hospital, we worked together to rebuild her daily routine. No more harsh soaps, no more full-body scrubs every day, just careful, focused hygiene and lots of moisturizer. It wasn't easy for her at first. Old habits die hard, but she eventually embraced this new way of caring for herself. I never knew, she told me later, that taking care of my skin meant being gentle, not scrubbing harder. If you're a senior or you love someone who is, I urge you, don't wait until a hospital visit forces this lesson on you. Start now. Protect your skin like it's your first line of defense, because it truly is. A few small changes can mean the difference between a safe, healthy winter and a dangerous, frightening infection that could have been avoided. 3. Slippery floors, broken lives. Here's a fact that should scare all of us. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, more than 3 million older adults are treated in emergency rooms every year because of falls, and bathrooms are among the deadliest places. One slip on a wet floor can change everything, not just a broken bone, but a broken life. I've seen it firsthand too many times. The story of Mr. Walter Green, one of my dear patients, still weighs heavily on my heart. Walter was 87, proud, fiercely independent, still driving to the grocery store once a week and tending his small garden out back. He insisted he didn't need any special modifications at home. No grab bars, no shower chair, no concessions to old age. "I'm steady on my feet," he would say. But one night, while stepping out of the tub, his foot hit a slick spot. In an instant, he fell sideways, the impact shattering his hip. Surgery followed, then a long, painful hospital stay, and ultimately, a move to a nursing facility, permanently. He never returned home. Worse still, the loss of his independence was something he never fully accepted. He grew quiet, withdrawn, depressed. Within a year, Walter passed away, not directly from the fall, but from everything that came after. The loss of hope, the loss of control, the slow decline. The heartbreaking truth is that Walter's story is not unusual. After a serious fall, an older adult's life expectancy drops dramatically. Recovery is grueling if it happens at all. Studies show that nearly half of seniors who suffer a hip fracture never regain their former level of function. Many lose their ability to live independently. Some never walk again. And the psychological toll, depression, anxiety, fear of falling again, is just as devastating as the physical injuries. Why do falls happen so easily in seniors, even those who still feel good? Aging quietly weakens the body's defenses. Muscle strength declines, reaction time slow, balance becomes less reliable. Even blood pressure regulation, the body's ability to keep the brain properly supplied with blood when changing positions, can falter, causing dizziness or fainting. The bathroom, with its hard surfaces, slick tiles, and tight spaces, is a perfect storm. Add in a bit of water on the floor, a slippery tub, no support to hold on to, and you have a recipe for disaster. One of the biggest mistakes I see over and over is the mindset of, "It won't happen to me." People wait until after a fall to install grab bars or buy a shower chair. By then, it's too late. Pride often gets in the way. But preparing a bathroom isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. About honoring the reality of a body that deserves protection, not punishment. Turning a bathroom into a true safe zone. What the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, would call an accessible environment, is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself or your loved one. It doesn't have to be expensive or overwhelming. Start with sturdy grab bars, properly anchored near the toilet, tub, and shower. Use non-slip mats inside and outside the tub. Replace traditional bath rugs with ones that have non-skid backing. A shower chair or bench, paired with a handheld shower head, can transform a dangerous standing shower into a secure, seated experience. Raise the toilet seat if needed, and ensure good lighting, especially at night. And most importantly, never ever assume that just being careful is enough. Safety is built into the environment, not just the intention. I often tell my patients, preparing your bathroom isn't about planning for a fall, it's about preventing one. Walter, if he were still here, would be the first to say, "Don't wait." I only wish he had made the changes before that awful night. If you're over 70 or you love someone who is, take a hard look at the bathroom today. Think about it not as a place of simple routine, but as a battlefield where a few smart choices can mean the difference between living freely and living confined. Our homes should protect us, not endanger us. And I would love to hear from you. Have you or someone you know made any changes to make your bathroom safer? Or is this something you realize now might need to be done? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to take action before it's too late. 4. Cold shock after bathing, a silent killer. Have you ever wondered why something as simple as taking a warm bath could turn deadly for an older adult? It sounds impossible, yet for seniors, a hidden danger lurks after every bath or shower: cold shock and hypothermia. This isn't about stepping outside into a snowstorm without a coat. It's about the body's quiet, weakening ability to regulate temperature with age, and how quickly a comfortable evening can spiral into tragedy. I will never forget the heartbreaking case of Mrs. Margaret Lawson, an 82-year-old woman who lived alone and cherished her evening routine. One chilly November evening, Margaret took her usual warm bath. She felt relaxed afterward, and as always, sat for a little while in her living room before getting ready for bed. But that night, she didn't bother drying her hair completely. She wore only a light robe over her damp skin, and the heater in her home hadn't yet fully warmed up the house. Her body, once robust in its ability to maintain a stable core temperature, couldn't compensate for the rapid cooling that followed. By the next morning, her daughter found her unresponsive. Margaret had succumbed to hypothermia inside her own home. It's a chilling reality that most people simply don't know. As we age, our bodies lose the ability to manage heat effectively. At 30 years old, if you step out of a warm bath into a cool room, your blood vessels constrict, your muscles generate warmth, and your body keeps your core temperature stable. You might shiver a little, but you'll recover without a second thought. At 80, however, things are very different. The body's natural thermostat, the complex system that balances heat production and loss, becomes sluggish. Blood vessels don't constrict as efficiently. Metabolism slows down. Muscle mass, a critical source of internal heat, diminishes with each passing year. What once was a minor chill can rapidly escalate into a dangerous drop in core body temperature. Hypothermia doesn't always look the way Hollywood portrays it, with dramatic shivering and blue lips. In seniors, it can be insidious. It might begin with simple confusion, excessive tiredness, slowed speech, or a weak pulse. By the time these symptoms are noticed, the body's core temperature may have already fallen to critical levels. One common mistake I see often among older adults is underestimating the importance of proper post-bathing care. Many seniors, feeling warm and relaxed from their bath, skip drying their hair thoroughly or don't dress warmly enough. Some may sit in cool or drafty rooms with damp skin, or worse, bathe late at night when body temperature naturally dips and the risk of chilling is even greater. Morning and late-night baths, although convenient, can expose already vulnerable bodies to sharp temperature drops that their systems can no longer effectively fight off. The good news is that these risks are entirely preventable with a few simple, thoughtful steps. First, always prepare the environment before bathing. Make sure the bathroom and adjacent rooms are comfortably warm, not just the bathwater. After bathing, dry off immediately and thoroughly, paying special attention to hair, feet, and underarms where moisture can linger unnoticed. Use a hairdryer to dry hair completely, even if it seems only slightly damp. Slip into warm, dry clothing right away. Think cozy sweaters, socks, and comfortable, insulating layers. Another crucial point is timing. Seniors should aim to bathe during the warmest part of the day, typically around noon to early afternoon. Midday bathing allows the body to maintain better thermal regulation, reduces the temperature gap between the body and the environment, and minimizes the risks associated with the natural nighttime cooling cycle. Drinking a warm beverage after bathing, a cup of tea, broth, or warm water, can also gently boost internal body temperature and help stave off chilling. Margaret's story is painful to recall, but it's one I share because it could have been prevented with simple changes. She didn't die because she was careless. She died because no one ever told her how dangerous post-bathing chills could be at her age. She believed, as many do, that she was safe inside her own home. But warmth isn't just about comfort for seniors, it's about survival. As loved ones age, it's easy to focus on big things, medications, appointments, meals, yet often it's the small, overlooked details like drying off properly after a bath that quietly carry the greatest risks. Protecting seniors from hypothermia isn't about wrapping them in cotton wool or making them feel fragile. It's about understanding how aging changes the body and giving them the tools, habits, and knowledge to live safely, confidently, and with dignity. 5. Overcleaning is overkilling. Have you ever stopped to think about whether being extra clean could actually be harming your health? For many seniors, the answer is yes, and it's a risk few even realize they're taking. Overcleaning, especially with harsh antibacterial soaps, doesn't just wash away dirt. It strips away one of the body's most critical natural defenses, the skin microbiome. And once that barrier is damaged, the consequences can be painful, stubborn, and sometimes life-threatening. I still think often about Mr. Frank Delaney, a kind and spirited 82-year-old man who prided himself on his personal hygiene. Frank had always believed that the cleaner you are, the healthier you'll be. Every morning without fail, he would scrub his entire body with a strong antibacterial soap, believing he was keeping infections away. For years, it seemed harmless, until one winter when Frank developed a persistent itchy rash on his chest and back. It wasn't just dry skin, it was a fungal infection caused by Candida albicans. His skin's natural defenses had been so worn down by daily overwashing that opportunistic fungi found an easy way in. What happened to Frank is a textbook example of a problem that most people, even doctors, often overlook: the silent destruction of the skin microbiome. This invisible community of bacteria, fungi, and viruses lives in harmony on healthy skin, acting as a frontline defense against harmful pathogens. In a young, healthy person, the microbiome is diverse and resilient, capable of keeping dangerous invaders at bay. But in an elderly person, the skin is already thinner, drier, and less able to maintain that critical microbial balance. Add in the daily assault of harsh soaps and vigorous scrubbing, and the microbiome can be devastated, leaving the skin wide open to infection, chronic inflammation, and even systemic illness. There's a dangerous myth that still floats around, that more soap, more scrubbing, more antibacterial products mean better health. In reality, especially for seniors, the opposite is true. When the microbiome is destroyed, harmful organisms like Candida fungi, staph bacteria, or even antibiotic-resistant bugs can take over. The result isn't just a rash or an annoying infection. It can mean long-term skin damage, painful chronic conditions, and in serious cases, infections that require hospitalization. Comparing a healthy skin microbiome to a damaged one is like comparing a lush, thriving forest to a barren, scorched field. In a healthy microbiome, good bacteria create a protective shield, crowding out pathogens and maintaining the skin's natural pH. They produce antimicrobial substances naturally, without the need for harsh chemicals. In a damaged microbiome, the protective good guys are gone, and harmful invaders move in freely. The skin becomes more sensitive, more prone to cracks, sores, and persistent infections that can be very difficult to heal in elderly patients. One of the most common mistakes older adults make, and often with the best intentions, is using antibacterial soaps all over their bodies every day. They believe that they're scrubbing away illness, when in fact they're scrubbing away their own skin's protection. The truth is, unless you are specifically treating a wound or following a doctor's order for infection control, you do not need and should not use antibacterial soap on your entire body. There is a better way. Seniors should bathe less frequently, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, unless otherwise needed, and focus on keeping essential areas clean. When they do bathe, they should use mild, microbiome-friendly cleansers that are free of harsh chemicals and fragrances. Look for products labeled as microbiome gentle or pH balanced around 5.5, which supports the skin's natural defenses. It's also crucial to moisturize immediately after bathing with a thick, fragrance-free cream that helps restore the skin's barrier without introducing more irritants. Frank learned the hard way, but after months of treatment and a complete overhaul of his skincare routine, he finally regained control over his skin health. No more daily scrubbing, no more harsh soaps, and a new, deep respect for the delicate ecosystem living right on his skin. An ally he hadn't even known was there. It's time we change the way we think about hygiene in later life. Cleanliness is important, but overcleaning is not. Protecting the skin's natural defenses is far more valuable than trying to scrub ourselves healthier. Have you or a loved one ever struggled with skin issues that might have been related to overwashing or using the wrong products? I'd love to hear your experiences. Drop a comment below and let's share ideas on how to take better care of our skin as we age. Your story could help someone else protect theirs. Getting older doesn't mean giving up the simple joys of life. It means learning how to protect them. Bathing should refresh you, not risk your health. Now you know the hidden dangers, the small changes that could save your independence, your dignity, even your life. If you or someone you love is over 70, don't wait for a scare to make these changes. Start today. Protect yourself, honor your body, and give yourself the chance to keep living fully and freely. If this touched your heart, if you're ready to be stronger, wiser, and safer, do me one favor. Click the like button and subscribe right now. We're building a community that looks out for each other, shares life-saving knowledge, and refuses to let silent risks steal our future. You deserve to live safely and powerfully at every age. Let's do it together.